Okay guys, you're in a nutshell with me, Ina. Alam ko, marami pa rin mga abang-abang sa movement, sa mga nag-apply for PR, sa mga pilot programs for caregivers. Okay, I'm not really sure. Ano na ba? Kamusta na yung mga applications ninyo? Yung mga nanonood sa atin, update nyo ako sa comment section. Kamusta na? Kung may, ano ang latest na balita nyo from IRCC, if you've heard anything from them. Ngayon, alam ko, marami rin sa sobrang tagal ng paghihintay, ano, talagang ganyan, nawala na ng status. Okay? Alam nyo ba na meron palang public policy, okay, that allows out-of-status caregivers na nag-apply doon sa mga pilot programs, okay, even if you've been out of status for many years, merong 5-year period na papayagan ka ng Canada magpa-restore ng status. Pati kung meron kang kapamilya na nandito, kasama mo sa Canada, kunyari, pati sila na hindi na na-extend for whatever reason, pwede rin silang mabigyan ng work permit or study permit kung meron kang anak. Okay? So anyway, yan ang ating pag-uusapan. Okay, welcome back with her new look, si Miss G.
Oh, Miss Ina, hindi na makasakit ng buhok every day, so change na.
No, it's refreshing, di ba? Pag look naman. It looks good, Miss G. Welcome back. It's been a while. Guys, si Miss G, ang kanyang email, ayan gagapang sa ibaba throughout the episode if you wanna get in touch with her. She is, of course, representing GHV Immigration. Okay, Miss G, let me put up this, first, yung sa IRCC website. Yan. Meron po kasing pinost ang IRCC. Mali pala yung shinare ko. Ito. Yan. Tingnan nyo, November 24. Pinost. Pero, ang pinag-uusapan niya, ito nga, 5-year temporary public policy took effect nung March 31st pa. At tulad ng binanggit ko, this public policy allows out-of-status and unauthorized home care workers to restore or extend their status in Canada and obtain a work permit while their PR application is being processed. Okay, tapos ito, accompanying family members in Canada who are included doon sa kanilang PR application are also eligible to restore or extend their status, work, or study in Canada as applicable under this temporary public policy. Ano yung difference, Miss G, ng out of status sa unauthorized?
Halimbawa, naka-visitor sila, nagbo-work sila, they don't have authorization to work, no? O kung study man,
alright.
Nag-visitor, pero nag-aaral sila or nagwo-work. Yun yung no authorization.
Okay.
Oo, pero yung out of status, yun na yung, sabihin na natin in a simple term, no legal status, illegally staying in Canada.
Okay. Parang ngayon ko lang siya narinig, Miss G, but ikaw rin, sabi mo nga, it's been around for a long time na, a while na rin. Bakit nga nila pinost nung 24th?
Oo nga. So most probably it is like to be transparent. So sometimes talaga medyo nadidelay sila ng pagpo-post dyan sa program delivery update page. No, but then it's there, pero not detailed ang explanation ng IRCC. No, so again, this policy is para na doon sa mga nag-submit ng application March this year. No, so we are talking about the home care worker immigration pilot program. So this doesn't refer to the past caregiver program. No, so wag tayo malilito doon.
All right. Ayan nga yung sasabihin ko. Kawawa naman yung mga nauna pa. Yung nagsubmit pa doon sa mga naunang pilot programs, Miss G, hindi sila covered nito. Mas matagal na sila kung tutuusin. Baka mas maraming na out of status na sa kanila sa kahihintay.
Oo, pero ibang kasi yun ibang arrangement yung ibinigay sa kanila. And most probably, yung sa old program, marami na doon naka-receive ng AOR. So if they have their AOR, pwede naman silang mag-apply for a bridging open work permit. So this one, it's specifically for the home care worker.
Okay.
So yung mga nag-submit na.
Oo, yung nag-submit nitong March, ha? Let's be clear. Both for childcare, tsaka yung home care. Tama ba? Ano ba yung 2 categories na yan,
Yeah,
Miss
home
G?
support.
Home support, tsaka childcare. Okay, tapos anong eligibility nito, Miss G? Halimbawa, oh yeah, can you tell us about the eligibility kung sino pwede mag-apply?
So first, kailangan nakapag-submit ka na ng PR application under the Home Care Worker Immigration Pilot Program, no? And then pwede ka mag-apply ng either ng work permit for the caregiver, pwede ka rin mag-apply ng extension or status restoration. Kailangan physically present in Canada pag nag-apply ka, no? Pumasok ka ng Canada or entered Canada legally on or before December 16, very specific, December 16, 2021. And lived in Canada continuously. Hindi ka nag-exit and then balik uli ng Canada.
All right. Okay.
Maraming marami akong tanong about that one. Akala nila mako-consider sila for this, pero hindi nila nakita. Kailangan nasa Canada ka, pumasok ka ng Canada on or before December 16. No?
Okay. Yeah.
And somehow authorized ka to work at some point, no? In between that. And currently you do not have a work authorization or wala kang valid status. Hindi rin kasama dito yung mga may refugee claim or under a removal order. Unfortunately, that is not considered for this policy.
Yeah, actually guys, yung eligibility requirements, it's also uploaded online. So you can take a look at it for yourselves, no? Ito yan, no? Basta dun sa original na announcement na sinend ko kanina, na pinakita ko kanina, may link doon na, you can click on it. It will lead you to this page wherein you can see yung eligibility. Okay, marami ka na bang clients, Miss G, na out of status na nga dahil sa tagal? Or fortunately, may AOR na kapag apply naman sila for a work permit while waiting?
Oo, meron akong ilan-ilan na most of my past applicants kasi, no, for the 2025, they were on a PGWP. Yung iba sa kanila, nakakuha ng mabait na employer na in-apply sila ng LMIA. Meron naman na talagang hindi sila makakuha ng employer who can process the LMIA. And then sabi ko sa kanila, what's really important is ma-maintain nila yung legal status nila kung ayaw nilang lumabas ng Canada. No? And yes, Ms. Ina, I just want to reiterate also, it is very important for you to stay connected with your consultant kung gumamit man kayo ng consultant in your application. Okay. No, update nyo sila kahit pa nagbago lang kayo ng home address nyo or nabago yung status nyo, inform your consultant. The consultant and the applicant relations, hindi yan nag-e-end sa pagsasubmit ng application nyo sa IRCC. Mag-e-end lang yon kapag, I don't know if other consultants are doing this, but for me, my relationship will end hanggang makuha natin ang result ng application.
Okay. And of course, but is it doable, Ms. G? For example, wala silang consultant and then they wanna do this.
Yeah.
Tapos may family pa, apply din nila yung anak nila ng study permit, asawa nila ng work permit. Mahirap ba yan gawin DIY?
DIY is always possible, no? Especially kung medyo tight ang budget, which is medyo mahal naman kasi talaga. I don't want to use the term mahal, pero you have to spend really pag nag-hire ka ng consultant or an immigration lawyer. So everything is doable, but make sure that you really study well ang mga regulations, kailangan updated ka. If you see yung ating pareho na tawag dito, pina-follow, sa social media, di ba mayroong doon na ang officer ngayon is naghahanap even mga documents na wala naman sa checklist or sa status. Pero in fairness, my rule in my documentation, kahit wala yung documents na yun sa checklist, talagang medyo marami kayong supporting documents.
Oo. Can you give us an example, no? Kasi guys, yung sinasabi ni Ms. G, alam ko yun eh, may mga consultants online talking about this, na minsan daw, nade-deny yung mga application because may hinahanap na document na ayun na nga, sabi ni Ms. G, wala naman usually dun sa checklist na hinihingi. So, ibig sabihin, para maiwasan na yung ganyan-ganyan, lahat ng pruweba ninyo sa lahat ng sinasabi ninyo, i-attach nyo na, sobrahan nyo na, kahit hindi hinihingi. Yeah, can you give us an example dun sa experience mo, Ms. G, na ganyan?
So, wala pa naman ako nare-refuse doon. Let's talk about the spousal kasi dun sa na yung spousal So, for example, if you're applying for LMIA or a closed work permit, spousal open work permit, so isama nyo na rin doon yung mga documents that makes the principal applicant eligible to do the job. So like yung LMIA, let us say yung resume, yung education credentials ng principal applicant, ilagay nyo na yun doon sa spousal open work permit applications nyo because that is the specific scenario na nung nakita natin sa social media, di ba? It is very clear, hindi naman talaga kasama yun sa sa checklist or yeah, pero I always do that anyway sa lahat ng mga application ko even in the past. Mas uunahan ko na mag-isip yung visa officer. So sabi ko nga, if the documentation doesn't pass my review, so what's more pag nakarating sa visa officer yun?
Yeah, okay, correct. O sige. Nandito rin pala guys, no, yung documents that you will need if you are going to apply for restoration. Kung ikaw yung principal applicant, ito pala, Ms. Gino, nakasulat dito. Kung may AOR ka na from their PR application, you can provide the AOR. Okay, tapos if wala ka pang AOR, pwede mo daw ibigay yung tracking receipt o yan, or number from a courier, proof of payment of application fees, or a copy of the email confirming that the application was submitted sa online portal and also yung proof of payment. Ayan. So, ayun parang kaya naman to gawin, Ms. Gino. I hope maraming matulungan.
Yeah. To clarify din yan, for example, nag-submit yung my out-of-status applicant last March of this year. So wala pang sagot, walang paramdam from immigration about the application. They can submit the work permit application and then yung mga nakalist dyan na samples, kahit wala pa silang AOR, they can apply for the work permit and for their spouse and dependents. But what will happen is, sinasabi rin dyan na unless and until naka-receive sila ng AOR or natapos na yung R10 or yung completeness check, then that is the time na ipaprocess ng officer yung work permit application. So it's not a determination for the officer na, okay, wala pang AOR to, bakit may application na to? Refuse ko. No, that's not the case in this. Sinasabi dyan na the officer is prompted to i-hold ang application, mag-go sa GCMS, makikita kasi nila dun ang movement ng application, and when they see that the completeness check is done, completed by an officer, then ipaprocess na yung work permit. That's a go.
All right, okay. Tapos naalala nyo guys, sabi ni Ms. G kanina, other eligibility requirements, kailangan yung pumasok ka ng Canada, legally. Ayan. So ito, meron ding supporting documents to prove that. Okay, ayan. Photocopies of your passport pages showing kung kailan ka pumasok. Ayan o. Ito, examples of proof of an authorized entry to Canada. Pwede ka rin nagbigay ng copies of immigration documents such as an expired work permit, visitor record, or study permit. Ayan. Pwede ka rin, magpadala ka din ng proof of residence. Kung meron kang lease agreement sa bahay mo, yung mga ganyan. Utility bills. Okay. And proof of physical presence. Would you suggest, Miss Gina, ibigay nila lahat ng meron sila na nandito?
Yes, 100%. Oo, maigi na yung sobra kaysa kulang.
Oo, okay. Ano ba? Okay, hindi ko pa pala ikaw natatanong tungkol dito, Miss G. Of course, the budget came out. Nandun yung PR targets for next year. And ang laki ng ibinaba na PR allocations for the caregiver pilot programs, Miss G. Was it half? Parang mga ganyan eh. Sige, let's not talk about the specific number, but I do recall, no, na sabi ko, naku po, ang laki ng naibawas. Should those who applied last March be worried about this? Kasi ang tinanggap nila nun, di ba, parang 5,000 something. Tapos ang slots lang next year ay wala pa yatang 2,000, Miss G. Tama ba ako?
Yeah, I immediately checked yung nabago ba yung number ng allocation. It's the same, Miss Ina. It is 2,750. Walang nabago dun sa allocation. Pero if you look at the immigration plan,
yeah, sige.
Yung sa mga economic pilots, which includes the caregiver, no, 8,175. So down siya ng 2,745 compared to last year. So, but remember, ano yan, magsasali dyan yung yung sa agri-food, caregiver, and other economic pilots. No? So, wala pang nakaspecify exactly kung ilan ang allocated for the caregiver. Pero if you go through the same document na chinek natin nun, Miss Ina, same numbers pa rin, walang nabago. So,
okay. So, it's my bad. So, mali ang pagkaalala ko. Sige, let me put this up para lang ma-clarify natin. Okay. This is the supplementary, information tungkol dun sa immigration targets. Sige, puntahan natin. Ito yung sinasabi ni Ms. G. Okay, saan ko ba naisip yung sabi ko, wala pang 2,000. So, for 2026, sa federal economic pilots, which includes caregivers, agri-food, community immigration pilots, pati economic mobility pathways pilot, 8,175. Paghahati-hatian nila dyan.
Yes.
Okay. So, hindi dapat mag-alala muna, Ms. G, yung mga nakapag-lodge ng kanilang applications last March.
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
And also, we're talking about yung latest is for the 2026. Diba?
Yeah.
For the 2026. So, yung for the 2025, medyo nakalabas na tayo din na ipasa na. And I'm really hoping, because I saw in one of your episodes, yung sa Ontario, where in the... Yes, oh my God. Medyo disaster yon, and I really don't agree doon. Parang hindi masyadong makatao. Yeah.
No, I hope hindi naman nila gagawin sa mga caregivers yung biglang ibabalik na lang yung mga applications, no? Because napakahalaga ng papel ng caregivers, especially for the elderly people here in Canada. As we know, aging ang population dito. So, nangangailangan talaga ng mga caregivers. I hope they do not do that. Pero ano na ba latest, Miss G? Sige, before we end the episode. Ano nang latest sa mga nag-apply nung March?
Bukod dun sa nabanggit ko na naka-receive ng AOR, so far wala pang AOR for the rest of my applicants. I know, and we are really hoping na makarinig na tayo from IRCC. But I always tell them, just make sure kung wala talagang employer na mag-apply ng LMIA, make sure lang na legal ang status niya sa Canada, or worst comes to worst, balik kayo sa Pilipinas, what to do instead of illegally staying in the country.
Will that risk their PR application if, let's say, out of status ba sila na matagal?
No, I don't see. I checked everywhere yung mga possibility. No, it's not what IRCC is saying na you got to make sure that you are maintaining a legal status. So IRCC is not saying that you have to maintain a worker status. Doon.
Okay. No, out of status. As in, wala ka ng status. Will it risk their pending application dun sa home caregiver pilots? Yes, it will.
Definitely.
Okay. So,
Meron din mga aplikante na, for example, nawala ng status, so they have 90 days restoration period. Diba? So I strongly suggest na it's either they convert their status into something like, for example, visitor's visa, and not wait for that 90 days na maubos na bago pa lang mag-exit or mag-change ka ng status, because it's like jeopardizing your legal status. Maintained, yung restoration stage is not a legal status of you in Canada. No? So, yun lang, just a heads up for many.
Okay. And of course, they can avail of this temporary public policy kung kasama sila dun sa pumasok before December 16, 2021. Right?
At ko lang, Miss Ina, sorry. At ko lang, 140 spots lang ang nabigay dyan for the out of status.
Ay, nakasulat ba? 140 lang?
140, wala dyan sa ating binabasa, but when I was like checking everywhere, 140 for the childcare, 140 for the home support. So yun ang allocation for them.
For this temporary public policy na makakapag-restore ng status, Ms. G, you mean?
Para dun sa mga walang status na mag-apply for PR.
Sorry. Okay, we're talking about different things. Okay. I thought you were referring dito sa public policy that allows out of status to restore their status while waiting for their PR applications. Wala tong limit, walang limit to.
No. Yeah, but we can also expect na 140 lang ang quota sa PR application. 140 lang din yung mag-a-apply. Possible.
Oo nga naman. Ano ba? Okay. All right. Okay. But, MSG, yung mga nawala ng status while waiting, yun yung iniisip ko.
Yeah.
Diba? Pwede naman yun hindi ba?
But they will not be included dito sa temporary policy na to. No? Their obligation is or responsibility is to make sure na may legal status sila kung gusto mo nilang sa Canada. Or rather go back sa home country nila and wait for the usad ng kanilang application.
Nagets ko na. Ang slow ko, no? Kaya talagang kailangan may kausap akong consultant. Nagets ko na ngayon. Oo nga naman, kasi the moment you do get out of status, as may pending PR application ka, medyo malabo ka nang ma-approve. It risks your PR application. Hence, yung sinasabi ni Ms. G, if magsusubok ka ulit maging PR, doon ka na papasok sa allocation nila for out-of-status applicants. Yun pala yun. Okay, got it. Alright, Ms. G, yun lang naman. Thank you so much. Again, her email is down there if you want to get in touch with her. For those curious, si Ms. G po ay based in Edmonton, Alberta. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. G.
Thank you.
Guys, in the next one, we'll end this here. Bye!